All right, I'm going to call the regular Planning Commission of March 13, 2024 in order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Chair. Commissioner Cioni,
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Bridge,
Here.
and Commissioner Braxton.
Here. Thank you. I don't think we have anything on constant calendar, so I think we can go directly to oral communications. This is your chance to speak about an item that's not on the agenda. If you want to do so, this is the time. I'm also going to remind the public that there's also a phone line, 805-875-8201. No one rising. Is there anyone on the line?
No one on the phone at this time, Chair.
Okay, then we're going to close oral communications and move to the first public hearing item, which is an architectural design and site development review for a T-Mobile wireless rooftop facility, DR 22-05. And can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, good evening, Chairman and members of the Commission. So tonight we have DR 2205 for the T-Mobile wireless rooftop facility. Can you change the slide, please? All right, so the site is located at 1621 North H Street. It is on approximately 3 acres of developed land in the PCD and H Street overlay zoning districts at the Lompoc Valley Inn and Suites. It is surrounded by other commercial uses, business park to the east and the Lompoc Airport to the north. The project proposes the installation of 2 tower features on the rooftop of an existing hotel to relocate and house the existing proposed upgraded T-Mobile equipment and to place it in the towers and replace the equipment cabinets in the existing ground level mechanical area. Here are a few pictures of the existing site. The top one there is looking on ocean, looking west towards the hotel. The 2 bottom pictures are in the back of the hotel. The hotel has essentially 2 buildings, so these are in the back. And those tower features you see there are from a previous or a different carrier. I believe it's AT&T. The left picture there shows the equipment area in the back, right around there. And to the right is the parking lot showing the truck trailers. Next slide. And also in the back of the hotel showing the storage containers. And there is a condition that the truck trailers be removed and the storage containers, they would require at minimum a minor use permit to be processed separately, at least preliminarily looking at the development for the hotel and what the parking requirement was at the time. It appears that there is a surplus of 4 parking spaces, so they could potentially have at least 1 storage container if they process a minor use permit. Next slide, please. This is the site plan. Could I borrow the laser pointer, please? Here's Ocean right here. The existing T-Mobile facility is right here, and it's going to be placed in the tower features in the front here. And the equipment cabinet area is right there at the ground level. Next. The existing on-screen T-Mobile antennas will be removed from the current location on the existing rooftop. The proposed project consists of installing 3 approximately 4 feet high panel antennas and associated equipment inside the screened towers, which are 8 feet in height. The total height from ground level to the top will be 42 feet, and in this zone, you can go up to 50 feet, so they meet that. Architecturally, the proposed towers are similar to the existing towers and the building, and will incorporate textures and colors which will match. And Brian? Here are some of the samples. This will be, right now this is white, but it's going to be made to match the color of the existing building. And then the tile elements. Next slide, please. Here are a few photo simulations. This is the existing, how it looks right now, and then with the photo sims showing how it would look afterwards. And this is a view looking west, and this is a view looking west, southwest, existing, and then with the tower elements. That concludes staff's presentation. It is recommended to adopt approving the DR 2205 or provide other direction, and the applicant is also available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stones. Any questions before we move to public comment? Okay, so we're going to open public comment. Usually the applicant speaks first, so if you want to do that. Yeah, please. And if you can state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Linda McClung. I'm here on behalf of T-Mobile, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have regarding the project.
Great. I guess my question is, have you read the conditions of approval, and are you all okay with that?
I've read the conditions of approval. The only comment I have is regarding the conditions regarding the property owner removing those containers on their property. Apparently, it's written that it needs to be removed before the building permit is issued.
Okay.
We are letting the property owner know that, like I read where it's stated in the staff report regarding the issues with those containers, and then I also pointed out the condition that we have. We are notifying the property owner, but as you can see with the pictures, they have quite a few of them on there, and apparently they store stuff in them. So my concern would be is if the property owner doesn't have them removed right away, it's going to hold up the project, which Greg will tell you, we've been working on this project for well over a year.
So this is a condition of approval that's imposed on the project, but it's not the applicant that needs to remove those. So that's a little bit weird, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, the point is that they need to be removed. They're currently not in.
But who enforces that? Because I mean, I can see T-Mobile's point. Like, okay, you put that condition before we put before we get the building permit, but we don't have control over those containers because there's not ours.
Well, a suggestion would be potentially doing it prior to sign off instead of prior to building permit.
Commissioner Bridge.
Well, why is that not an enforcement issue versus a new project issue?
Commissioner Bridge, I can add to that. So you're absolutely right, it is a code enforcement issue, but whenever someone comes in for an approval, a planning permit, a discretionary permit, there is some discretion that the commission can use as part of the project if there are things that are not meeting the current code. For example, if there's violations or there's things that need to be repaired, it's basically, it is an opportunity to look at the site in case something is not meeting the city code, and those are clearly not meeting the city code. And so we bring it up to the applicant, and so that's why it's been conditioned. We think it's appropriate.
And I apologize, I didn't realize, like Greg has been communicating with me regarding these containers. I've been relaying the information to the property owner, trying to find out what they're used for and so forth, and it's been kind of vague. And so I've been aware, and we've been communicating with the property owner, but I did not know it was going to be a condition in our approval until I saw the staff report and I saw this and download it online. I just don't think it's appropriate to require it a condition for T-Mobile to build, to start their project because it's separate from our project. I realize it's the same property, but why isn't the property owner being contacted under different, like a violation or something, because they're not abiding by the code?
Yeah, and that was exactly my point. They could very feasibly delay your project by just refusing to do that. I don't know what their interest is to have these, is there like some sort of like a financial advantage to the property owner to have these
I'm not
towers
sure, like,
installed?
they were kind of back and forth about what they're used for. It sounds like they store some things, and the property owner said that sometimes they move them, but I don't know if they've
No.
ever been moved.
Okay, now what I'm asking is that whether they have an interest in making sure that this project moves forward. Do they have a, yeah?
I don't know, I think they're getting more money from T-Mobile.
Okay.
That's separate from this, but I don't know if it's written, how how their amendment is written
Okay,
to say that this could, like, if they don't do this, then it won't happen, So I don't know if there's any, as far as the city's concerned, I think it'd be best to handle this like a violation, then they have to do it. Because otherwise, they're just holding up T-Mobile, and, they could just say, we're not gonna move them right now. And then we're not able to
yeah.
do the construction.
Commissioner,
So for those Connex boxes, right, you guys have no equities, right, either, or no needs when you put the antennas in to use that as a comm resource, right, to relay the signal. So if you needed that, you would have said, hey, we need that. If that's the property owner, why would that, I'm just baffled, and I'm baffled still when I read this the first time, talking about it now, that we would levy this requirement, right, on you as the applicant, because you're putting the service there. This goes back to the owner of the property, right? If they want them, then why wouldn't we negotiate with them to say, hey, if you still want these on your property, relocate them, right? Relocate them, and what are they used for, right? Does the current property owner have a permit to have them on site?
One, just to add to that, very good points, is when they apply for the design review permit, so the property owner has to sign the application. So they are both involved, both the property owner and T-Mobile. It's not just T-Mobile. So we sometimes assume, but obviously it doesn't always happen, that the property owner and the applicant are communicating about the project and things that are on the property. So in this case, I don't know if they were communicating, but both of them are acknowledging the conditions and have to sign the conditions if this is approved by the commission tonight.
I mean, and I'm just going to finish the point. I feel that T-Mobile should go back to the owner. Obviously, you guys have an agreement, right? You guys have probably an MOA or an MOU that you have signed that you're putting these services on their facility, right? And there could potentially be a monetary rate. That should fall on them, right? It's no different. Like, and I'm a comm person, right? My trade, my forte on base. That when I put equities in other locations, right? I know that there are some certain limitations when we install things. But I feel that we're doing a disservice to the applicant who's putting the service there to better signal in the community, right? We had these services there prior. But I feel that this should not be a limitation for them to move this project forward.
honestly, I think it should be stricken. Commissioner Bridge?
So you already have a service at this location and you're
Yes,
improving it?
it looks like a radome structure, looks like a pipe
Okay. And
on the top.
that's what's driving you to this location is versus?
They needed to expand, so that right now they just have a small radome. There's not much room to put larger antennas or more antennas. So we submitted, and I've been working with Greg on this, to make a larger structure on the top of the building, and then it started to be, well, you need to make it look like the building, make it look like the AT&T cupolas on the other building, and so we've been working, I think, over a year. I mean, I think 22, because this project's 22, so we've been trying to come up with, and it was about structural and all this, and then we got everything decided, and we had to go to the FAA to get approval because we're next to the airport, and then they wanted us to lower the cupolas to 42 feet max. So then we had to redo the whole construction, the structural analysis and so forth, or the engineer did. So it's been a lot going on. And then the property owner, like Greg's been communicating with me about these containers, and we obviously have nothing to do with the containers. So we've been communicating with the property owner stating, whatever Greg tells me about the containers, I have it relayed directly to the property owner. When I saw that it was in the staff report, I took a snippet of that portion, I took a snippet of the condition and said, look, it's in our conditions of approval, it needs to be taken care of. But I never had the opportunity to talk to Greg because I didn't realize it was going to be an actual condition of the approval, or I would have discussed this beforehand with Greg and Brian. So I apologize for that, Greg, because it wasn't my intentions at all.
I have a question for staff. Have they been cited?
I would have to check, but I don't believe they have been cited.
So,
But we could check tomorrow and find out if it's an open case.
Strike it.
Let's strike.
Yeah, I think that needs to be taken off the conditions of approval because it does not apply, it does not pertain to the applicant. So, I mean, this is what we're discussing here, but, and by the way, I think we're good.
Okay.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak on this subject? Okay, no one's rising. Is anyone on the phone?
No one on the phone?
All right. Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
just going to discuss.
I'll make a motion that we approve staff's recommendation with the removal
P24.
of this particular clause.
P24.
Yes, thank you.
Do you have a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes 4-0 with the removal of P24. Okay, we're gonna go to new business. Is there any new business?
No new business?
Okay, then we're gonna reopen again oral communications. This is another opportunity to speak about an item that's not on the agenda. So if anyone wants to do that, the time is now. See no one rises. Is there anyone on the phone?
No one on the phone?
All right, we're going to close oral communication. Any written communications?
None this evening.
Thank you. We're going to do into approval of minutes. We have two minutes to approve tonight, December 13, 2023, and February 14, 2024. Do we have a motion, or is there any discussion?
Okay. I motion to approve the minutes from December 13th, 2023 and February 14th, 2024.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
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 All right, minutes have been approved. Director, staff communications.
Yes, I wanted to add two items, one here, one not, but I want to introduce our new Assistant City Attorney, Josh Garcia. So this is his first meeting, and he's replacing Brian Wright-Bushman.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Joshua Mary Garcia, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm sad to see Brian leave, but if you have any questions, please reach out.
Thank you.
And the second item is we currently have a new general plan element, the environmental justice element, that has been under public review since February 28th, so it'll go 30 days until March 28th. We're anticipating, unless there's obstacles that come up, which I'm not anticipating, a May meeting to consider the environmental justice element, and then sometime after that, it'll go to council, depending on recommendations from the Planning Commission. Other than that, that's all I have as the Director of Communications.
Thank you, Mr. Halverson. Any commission requests? Commissioner Bridge?
I just have one to staff on the general plan amendment or new section. In my preliminary review, and therefore what will come up subsequent, I had difficulty being able to discern several items that were in there that created an environmental justice context. So, just a heads up, I'll probably be discussing those when we go to the final review.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bridge. I just would like to hear a quick update on the housing element process, where we are with that.
Yes, my pleasure. So I think I might have mentioned it a few meetings before that we got a second meeting from HCD. We're still working on responding to that second comment letter that came in January. I just talked to the consultant today, and they should have a draft response next week that we would then share with HCD. We're going to do an informal review so we can get buy-in, make sure they're okay with it, but before we bring back those revisions to the housing element, to the Planning Commission and the City Council. So I'm anticipating, hopefully, in the next 2 to 3 months, bringing it back to the commission.
Thank you.
So the one to piggyback off on that, were there significant, well, I guess we can wait, but because I know we're in that limbo, right, or whether we're compliant, non-compliant, right? So obviously, we're still non-compliant, right? But as they continue to do these letters, right, as it's in under review, does it give us like a partial compliance? Or does it continue, we just stay out of compliance so we can continue, I'm going to joke and do the Dwayne Homdale, right, kick the can down the road with the state, right, as we put all this emphasis with the consultants and think we put a good package back, and then it goes to a review and validating stage, and we keep just getting letters. Do we see that? Do we foresee that happening?
No, I think this will be the last one. Obviously, I'm being optimistic. There is no partial compliance. We have an adopted element that we can enforce, but it's not certified. I really don't anticipate another letter after this. I think we'll be able to nail it this time. Obviously, there's no guarantees, but I'm feeling very confident. There's some more programs they want us to put into the element. They want more justification for sites that are partially developed using trends and other data, previously approved projects. And then there's more, in addition to that. But I think that we are very confident that we can get this certified. I'm hoping this summer. So.
Anything else? Okay, then I think we're ready for adjournment. I'm going to move that we adjourn the Planning Commission meeting to our next meeting at 6:30 on Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. Can I have a second?
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.